here's the project. You can see that I quite like to use groups. So what I do here is that I group all of my kind of combined elements. So we've got pads, plucks, pianos, leads, etc, etc. And I always have a few reference tracks at the top. So look inside here, what have I got? I've got some Mullins stuff, John O'Callaghan, James Diamond. So what I really do with them is I just compare mine to them, make sure the levels are the same, well, almost the same. It's good just to keep flipping backwards and forwards between the two. So I'll just start straight away. So we have kick and bass group here. So we've got the kick roll, sub, and another sub. So if I just play that, I'll just solo it for you. So it's really simple. It's a kick and a sub. So we'll see what processing's on the kick. We have a tiny bit of EQing, some multiband dynamics, so it's just a multiband compressor essentially, another bit of EQing, utility, and some filters. So it's pretty straightforward, there's nothing fancy going on in there. Let's have a look at the subs. Sub again, pretty basic stuff going on here, so a little bit EQing. We have got, yep, so just more EQing and some sidechain. So again, there's nothing fancy going on there, and this extra sub is just another layer to give it a little bit of a boost in the low end, so you can hardly even hear that, but you play them together and it just gives it that little bit more kind of resonance in the low end. So that's the kicks. So now we move on to the mid basses. So for these mids, now if I was going to go back and do this project again, I would probably add a little bit more depth into the mids. They are a bit thin sounding. It works for this track, so but I would definitely go back and add some more body to these mids. So again, it's just some really basic stuff going on here. So we've got a silence. What am I using here? I'm using a pre-made sample from a pack, so I assume this is Adam Ellis pack. I can't exactly remember. Play this one on its own. We have again just some really simple EQing. This is more of a bandpass EQ. So what I want to do here is cut all the rubbish out the bottom, but I also want to cut all the kind of highs out here because I do have other layers that will fill this space. Like that one, for example. That one definitely fills that space. Okay, so what do we have next? We have another mid bass here. This one's really kind of trying to fill that low mid space. To be honest, this one could come right up. This could be pushed out a lot more. What am I using for this? I'm actually using Anna for this. It's quite a cool little plugin. It's quite cheap. I think you can get this from Sonic Academy. I'm pretty sure that's where I got this from. I think it was only like, I don't know, £30 or something, so it's quite good. Just reminds me of a really kind of basic silence. Get some nice cool default presets as well, so I'm using a default preset here, Slow Bass 5. And the last mid, just a really nice kind of high end. So that's really to give that kind of movement right across the kind of high end of the spectrum. So play these all together one last time, and I'll play it with kick and the bass. So there we go. Sounds okay. Cool, so I will just skip past some of these things. So I've got a drone here, some FX, some swooshies, some uplifters, some fills, and I'll move into the percussion. Percussion is not my strong point. It's something that I really need to work on more, but I will take you through what I've got here. So, okay, so it's filtering in at the start, so I'll just move this up a wee bit. Simple percussion, closed hats, open hats, shaker, and a more kind of percussion-y loop thing going on here. Again, if I was going back and doing this project again, I probably would not have as many hats. They seem to be all really similar. I don't know why I've got 3 hats, but yeah, there's nothing really special going on here with my percussion. Let's have a look at this. So yeah, so really basic EQing. On the group, I do a little bit more EQing and a filter. So if I just move this up a wee bit again, you can actually hear this coming in with the ride as well. So there's the ride coming in. I always like to keep my ride separate because I don't know why I like to keep it separate, but I always keep it separate. I always keep my claps separate as well. Somebody did ask me recently why I do that, but I don't know, I just think they're different things, especially the clap anyway. I think the clap should always be EQ'd differently than your percussion, because your clap's going to be a little bit more mono. And also I quite like to automate things differently as well, depending on what it is. So that's that. So what else have we got here? Some atmospheres. Let's see what these are doing. So these are just samples out of what looks like the Dave Parkinson pack. So it's just really to give the track a bit more depth, especially when you're kind of breaking down with elements. So you're coming into doing a fill, or you're doing transitions. I like to use atmospheres to kind of fill that gap. We hear that together. So you can just slightly hear them in the background. But if I was to turn them off, sounds really empty, really bare. What have we got here? Some snares. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just dive right into the leads. So I have got 3 channels here now. This one at the bottom, I've had to freeze it and compress it into one because it was eating all my CPU. So this, I'll play this one first. I think this was about maybe 4 different channels that I've just compiled into one. I'll have a listen to these ones. So on their own, these sound, especially these 2 plugs, they don't sound that good on their own, but you can hear when I put them on top of the saws, they actually sound really good. Take it off. Just gives it a bit more body to the melody. This, without these 2 plugs, it sounds really flat, kind of boring. Just gives it a little bit more depth. So what have I got going on here again? It's all really basic stuff again. EQ, some reverb, some sidechain, and I use this plugin. Now this plugin's pretty cool. It's free, you can get this for free, so it's called A1 Stereo Control. So it's basically just a stereo shaper. It just allows you to add some stereo width or bring the stereo in. So I would definitely get this if you don't have it. It's pretty good. What have we got next? Piano. Okay, so let's have a listen to the piano. Oh no, I must have took the piano out. Let's have a look at the plugs. don't know if that maybe plugs more or more a kind of intro synth that I use here. Just to give this a nice kind of bit of drive in the intro. You can see here there's some nice automation work going on here. So what I'm doing is I am automating the reverb. I am then automating the cutoff, so I'm letting it come up, let that resonance really poke out at this point. And then I come back down. I start filtering back up again. So what I'm trying to do there is I'm trying to build it up, take it off, come back in, add more suspense. So starting from really low, adding the suspense back up again. So you can just hear it coming right in there, in the back. Again, I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but again, it's just really basic stuff. So EQing, reverb, a bit of EQing, some stereo width, and LFO. Nothing fancy at all going on in there. What I've done in the group in this one is I've applied the Hass effect to the group. So what this does is it just really makes things so much more wider. I'll let you hear this with it on and with it off. If you listen to this on the phone or on your laptop, you probably won't hear that, but trust me, it really does add a little bit more width to the overall sound. So for the pads for this one, I didn't want to put a lot of focus on the pads, because in the breakdown it's all about the vocal. The pads, I just wanted them to be really subtle, sitting in the back, nothing fancy going on, just a simple chord changes. So you can hear that going. So it's like really gentle. It's a nice, really soft sound going on there. Doing a little bit of automation here on the EQ. So we'll hear that all together. So there we go. So what I will do is I will finish on the vocals. So these are definitely the best bit about the track. These vocals are probably the best vocals that I've ever worked with. When I got them, they were just amazing. I didn't have to do a lot of work to these vocals at all. They were all in key. They were really clean. It's definitely the best vocals I've ever worked with. So, okay, what have we got here? It seems like I've got a lot here, but what it is, it's just all different little hits and bits that I've cut out. So there we go. What have I got here? So on the group, I have got Saturn. So what I want to do there is really want to just add a bit of saturation. So what that does is, I'll let you hear this without and with Saturn. So this is it without. And this is it with. So I like the effect Saturn gives on vocals. I always use it on my vocals. I just think it really just makes them poke out a little bit more. If we move up to here, so in this little bit here I try to be fancy, I try to do something a little bit different. If you listen to this. So somebody asked me recently, how do I do the kind of delay effects on the vocals, because I do it in one of my new tracks as well, and I tell them it's just really simple. I just add a default ping pong delay. I think in my new one I use the simple delay, but all you're really doing is automating the dry wet and just setting your delay amount. There's nothing fancy going on in there at all. You hear it just carrying through. So maybe worth adding that. Also on what I like to do with my vocals is I use this infected mushroom pusher. So this is part of the Waves bundle. You can buy it on its own, so I've bought it on its own. And here you can see it here. So what this does is, I don't really know what it does, but what I think it does is it adds, again, more dynamics to whatever you're putting on. Sometimes I put it on my leads. Let me just play it. Let's use this bit here. So I turn the pusher off. So it sounds really dull without it. It still sounds okay, but it sounds dull. It's not got very much life to it. So there we go, we add that on. It really just kind of pushes out the high ends on it. I mean, you probably could do that with EQ, I suppose, but I don't know. I quite like using these plugins. So, really, there you have it. If anybody has got any questions, then please send me them. I'll be happy to answer them. I hope you enjoyed the track, and please do buy it when it comes out. So it's out on the 27th of April. And yeah, so thanks for watching.